All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Gimme 5 time. Do you remember the name? Now think about this. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Sound familiar? Yeah, well, she's back, and she's now in leather. That's right. Look.
Well, a provocative opinion piece in the New York Times this week argues that it may not be an oversight at all, but an intentional signal. Don't worry, the men are in charge of everything. My favorite sort of take on these pictures, maybe you saw it, was the one of dogs sitting around an oval table. And the caption was, "Discussing feline care." I like that.
All right, what she's talking about is what the left went crazy over. When Trump met with members of the Freedom Caucus of the House, which is a small, relatively small portion of the House, they were white men. And they were discussing health care, including, I assume, women's health care issues by definition. So they went nuts. Oh, look at all these white men. It's only white men deciding women's health. This was the Freedom Caucus, some of them. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. So, of course, leave it to the sexist Hillary. And you could be reverse sexist, and I believe she is. It's all about women. Women have to be first. Women have to be best. It's got to favor women, women, at the expense of men, to be honest with you. And she plays the sex card, the sexist card, rather, the gender card whenever she can. But it's interesting, her favorite cartoon was they portrayed those men sitting around as dogs. Isn't it interesting? You remember this?
We've trained this dog, and the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. If it's not true, he's going to bark.
I think I'm probably the most transparent person in public life.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email.
And I remember landing under sniper fire.
If we were to just go around this room, there are a lot of immigrant stories. All my grandparents, came over here.
We came out of the White House not only dead broke, but in debt.
You remember her? Yeah, you remember her now, right? Okay, she also said this the other night.
Obviously, the outcome of the election wasn't the one I hoped for or worked for, but I will never stop speaking out for common sense benefits that will allow moms and dads to stay on the job.
She's just for common sense. She's just for moms and dads. She's so inclusive. She loves everybody. She hates all this divisiveness and nonsense, right? You want another oldie but goodie?
We are living in a volatile political environment. To just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. And unfortunately, there are people like that.
But she's so inclusive now that she's wearing leather. She's just so inclusive. She loves everybody. This woman just cannot stop lying. She cannot stop lying. She will never stop lying. It's an impossibility for her to stop lying. I mean, please. Oh, yeah, she's back. Okay, maybe we won't see her for another few months, hopefully. Anyway, let's move on. Douglas Brinkley, presidential historian and radical leftist off the cliff, okay? He has fallen off the cliff. He's been revealed. He's been revealed for his political leanings, for what he is and who he is during this election cycle, and it hasn't stopped. He is a first-degree sufferer of Trump derangement syndrome. Watch.
Well, a lot of people are afraid to use the T word, treason, but in the end, that's what people are investigating. People talk about collusion with Russia. We're talking about whether there are people that worked in the Trump campaign who meddled in American elections, and our free and fair elections are the heart and soul of our democracy. And the very fact that on the day that I said that, FBI Director Comey is saying that the President of the United States is under a federal criminal investigation. It was stunning news. It remains stunning news.
Yeah, treason. Yeah, the members of the Trump team are meddled in a free election. Yeah, you're right on target, Doug. You're right on target. Here's more.
If there's ever any evidence that any American citizens are working to undermine the U.S. government or undermine our electoral system, it's a serious cause. And what that is you're not working against America, and you're working for somebody who's an adversary of ours, like Russia. That's treason.
Yeah, but who was doing that, Doug? You say, if there's ever any evidence. That's your key sentence. There is no evidence. Your statements smack of McCarthyism. You should be ashamed of yourself, but you're not. You're proud of yourself because you're out there now. You've been revealed, and there's no going back. You are a radical leftist. That's who you are, and everything you write and all your analysis as a historian has to be taken in that context forevermore. Now, Tavis Smiley. We pay his salary, or at least part of it, because he's on public broadcasting. Hopefully that will go away, that we pay his salary. Watch.
It was, to be sure, a violation of democratic norms, but it was more than that. To me, it was a trampling on the Constitution by the Republican Party, who did not give Mr. Garland a hearing. They can vote him up or they can vote him down. Barack Obama didn't do it because he had nothing better to do. He was obligated to put forth that nomination, and they were obligated to take it up, I believe, and vote up or down. So it wasn't just a violation or an abrogation of norms. It was a trampling on of our most precious document.
Well, I think if you were to parse the document, it doesn't say they must. Mm-hmm. It says he may nominate and they, and you don't have to have 9 people on the court.
That's true.
All right, so they're Tavis Smiley, whose salary we pay in part, God knows why, saying, oh, we're not giving Garland a vote under Obama. It's trampling on the Constitution. And then Andrew Sullivan says, well, not really. And the man whose salary we pay says, that's true. And you want to hear this one? Get a load of this.
But what happens next? We end up reconsidering, people being slaves again. We end up reconsidering the right for women to vote. My point is, you can parse that thing 18 different ways. So if the conversation is going to be, well, they didn't violate the letter of the Constitution, but you take my point? I just don't know where we end up if that's the way we're going to start playing the game.
You can't, but they're not violating a law or enacting a law that could violate the Constitution. And I think that that's a big distinction.
Okay.
So all these radical, sick things that come out of Tavis Smiley's mouth, what are we going to bring back slavery? Andrew Sullivan shoots him down. We have to stop paying that man's salary.